guys, I just want to say, for myself and for the security and stance of our channel, any music played in this video I do not own. I only own my voice, so the audio of my voice is not copyrighted, so yeah. Any music I play in this video I don't own and is not copyrighted, so thank you. I don't own any of the music, so it does not belong to me. Thank you. And here's the video. Hello, welcome to the front-end web development series, tutorial series, and I want to explain first what the front-end web development is, what it means, what it does, and pretty much the majority of the information you should know about the front-end web development. So, first of all, what happens with web development is there's two ends, front end and the back end. Front end is what we're going to be focusing on in this series, and that is the visual stuff that the client or the user viewing the web page sees and interacts with. So these three languages, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML, are what makes up front-end web development. Now back-end, we're not going to be focusing on that, but it is made up of a lot of different languages, so if you want to do some research on that, you can, but enough wasting time, let's talk about these languages. So JavaScript, well, we should start with HTML. So like it is described here in one word, this language is a structural language, and what that means is HTML organizes everything, and it's not functional and it doesn't look pretty, but it organizes all of the code and structures it properly. So if you think of a building and you think of all the supports and internal parts of the building, it's the structure that holds everything together. That's what HTML does. And if you don't know what HTML stands for, it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And if you want to do a little research on the history of HTML, you can go ahead and do that. And it's actually quite interesting, so I recommend you do that. The next part of front-end web development is CSS, the next language. CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and its purpose is, like this says, presentation really. So it's used to make websites look good, add color, fonts, maybe a little organizing. So it's just the beauty in making websites look pretty, basically. That's what CSS does. You should also go and do a little research on that. And finally, the funnest language here, I would say, JavaScript. The name of JavaScript can be a little misleading. Oracle, I do not believe, no, it doesn't actually, made JavaScript. They don't own JavaScript, basically. So they only own Java, which is what, it's just confusing, really. And I don't think JavaScript is really a scripting language anyways, but I wouldn't describe JavaScript as behavioral because it's not like a behavior or anything. JavaScript is more, I would describe it as functionality. It adds functionality to a web page and adds interaction. So like a button or something, or maybe a little animation or something like that. Action, pretty much. JavaScript does math. It does all the behind the scenes hard work in computing, basically. HTML and CSS, they don't do math and stuff like that. That's where JavaScript comes in, and that's its job. That's what it does, basically. Moving on, this is just another representation of the languages and what they do. So, just some adjectives and things that they do pretty much. CSS, it's basically the same exact concept as before. So, yeah. Now getting back into the front end and back end part of web development. This is a good representation of it. If these like file looking things and stuff confuses you, don't pay attention to them because right now that's not important anyways. But pretty much the back end is where all the important computing and processing is, which makes sense because that's not the presentation and visual part of websites that users see, which is what front end is. Back end is just a lot data processing, long-running analysis, things like that, especially large data storage for large websites that keep user information and stuff. And that's what the front end is. The user interface, basically the UI, the GUI of the website, where users can graphically explore the website, and yeah, that's how web development in the web generally works. So yeah, moving on. So next, a bit more about how this works. When you look at this, it looks intimidating, and yes, at first it is intimidating, but don't let that discourage you because once you learn it, it's something you're gonna love. So, it starts out with the client, which is the user on a web browser. So, the URL, which stands for Universal Resource Locator, which is commonly referred to as the web address, which is right up here in this URL box. That is like a phone number, kind of. So whenever you type in and press enter, that phone number is dialed in a way, and then your web browser requests information from a server. Now, this request is made right here, and it goes to this server. Now, the request requests basically the website files and things to load the web page. So it takes the HTML, CSS, JavaScript files, and all the web content, and it sends it back to the client. By the way, PHP will probably be a later thing that I'll be teaching a long ways down the road because I don't even know that yet. But pretty much it gets all this information and makes a response. Now it's up to your web browser to pretty much decode and present all that, and all of the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, they work together, and HTML tells the web browser how the website should be laid out. CSS renders it, so it makes it look pretty and renders the graphics. HTML, in a way, is a renderer as well, and JavaScript is kind of an interpreter with the interaction with it. So that's what the web browser does, which is what this is in here, and that's a very basic concept of how it works, and it's cool to think about, and it's not intimidating at all. So just for your information, this is what it looks like, and this is a very good representation of what it looks like and how it works. So yeah. So pretty much in this series, we're going to be talking about, and I'm going to be teaching you these 3 languages. And I'm going to start out by teaching HTML because that should be the first language you learn. You'll probably be told, though, that JavaScript is a good starting language to learn if you are starting programming. But if you're going to web development, then it's best to learn HTML first, and it's not a difficult language, believe me. JavaScript, it's a good starting language, and that's how I learned it. I started out with JavaScript, so I would recommend starting out with HTML because that's the base, and that should be how you learn it. It'll make a lot more sense along the way. So when you learn HTML, you can get a basic understanding of how a website looks and how it works. And then we'll move on to JavaScript, and I'll teach you functionality of a website and how to make it functional and interact with. So that could be doing things like a rock, paper, scissors game with something, or a lot of stuff, really. And then CSS will probably go either in between or after JavaScript. I don't know, or maybe even after HTML, but CSS makes it look pretty and good. So if you just use HTML and JavaScript, it wouldn't look so professional or that very pleasing. So yes, that is what CSS does. But nowadays you'll probably see these professional looking websites that look amazing and well and good. Those are most likely built with website builders. I don't really like them because it just is kind of a cheap way to do it. So I think this is the best way for web development, and it's a great starting concept to learn the concept of code and learn code. And this can also be a career choice. If you're looking for a career, then this is the way to learn it. So yeah, that is a basic understanding of these languages, what they do, and things like that. I think that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I really appreciate you coming here to learn, because there's not enough people out there that are just willing to teach you. It's mostly just web-based, teaching things that are confusing, and then people get lost and stuck, and so they end up giving up. Well, I'm here to help, so I'm here to explain everything. All you need to do is comment and ask me questions, and I will answer them best as possible. Again, or not again, but we're a new channel, so it'll be quite easy to keep up with comments, but please comment, like, and subscribe, because that encourages me to keep going on this. I just need more subscribers, likes and videos, comments, and that will be a great motivation and tell me that you guys want more and that you really like this. So thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video, and that should be probably more explanation of the web. I might do another video on history of these, just for your information, because it's good to know the history. And then after that, I'll probably start on HTML. And by the way, my instructional videos on the web development will be relatively short, I hope, because I don't want to have large sections in videos. I'd rather be covering small sections of the language in smaller videos. And no, these videos are not monetized for profit, so you're not going to be kept up with ads. So you're welcome, basically. I mean, feel free. Like, it's a free domain, guys. Come and enjoy it and learn. Just learn something new. So yeah, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Let it go, make my body go, make our bodies high.